cat, welcome to my channel. My name's Emma Cownley, I'm a freelance copywriter and blogger, and today is my freelance birthday. Pretty sure my business turns 6 years old this month-ish. I think I became a limited company at the end of January in 2017, so I thought I would do that time-honoured tradition of listing out the things I've learned, the number in the list of which corresponds to the number of years I've been freelancing. Real talk for a second. I'm filming this video on my last working year of 2022. You're watching it at the end of January, I'm filming it mid-December. My body has decided that it's done for the year. It doesn't care a monkey's toss for my schedule, and it's decided it's over. So it's taken me down with a cold. And I forgot I was supposed to be filming today. So what you've got is me in my natural form, but also really like sniffly and gross, with only the potential to breathe through just one nostril, the left nostril, if you're wondering. So please be patient and gracious as you watch this, because Lord, she's going through it. As always, before I begin, I'd like to remind you to like this video if you enjoy it, to subscribe if you've been here a few times, or if you're watching this and you immediately feel a deep and meaningful connection with me, mate, subscribe. I'd love to have you. Everyone that's subscribed to my channel automatically becomes the fucking coolest. So if you want to be the fucking coolest, subscribe. I'll leave links to anything I mention in the video in the description box below, along with where you can find me on social media and where you can leave me a donation on Coffee if you'd like to. Enough chit chat, let's just fucking get into this video, shall we? So the first thing that I've learned in 6 years of freelancing is that you need to learn to say no. It feels obvious, it feels like something of fucking course, but when you're in this situation, it's so much harder to do. There have been times, even recently, and I tell you what, I'm 6 years into freelancing. Literally last month, I was on a chemistry call with a brand new client who was telling me about their project, and pretty much everything they were saying to me was a red flag, and I knew in the moment on that call that it was not going to work out. I'm not in a habit of wasting people's time, so I was pretty forthright and upfront on the call about it. And being in that situation, one-on-one, on a Zoom call, looking at someone's face and saying no to them, is really awkward and difficult. Not only because I'm British and we don't like to be rude in any way whatsoever. In fact, we will endure great discomfort in order to avoid being rude, which is ironic considering our country's history, but there you go. Also, I'm a massive people pleaser. I would rather die than disappoint anyone. But in a freelance life, if you chicken out and you don't say no when you know you should, the only person who reaps the consequence is you. You're the one who ends up doing that job that you didn't want to do, or working under conditions you didn't want to work under. And after enough times, you fucking learn to say no, because you don't want to put future you in the position that you know you don't want to be in. So you're doing it for your future self. Being brave in the present to benefit your future self. Now, the best way to approach this freelancing life lesson is to practice the various ways you would say no to the most common things you know you'll be asked that you don't want to do. For example, will you give me a free sample? I'd be happy to provide a sample if you'd be happy to pay for it. Here is my standard fee. I can deduct it from the cost of the project once you have officially booked me for the work. Or my portfolio is more than robust enough to demonstrate my skill, but if you'd like specific samples of specific types of things, I can find some and send them to you. Or straight up, bitch, don't work for free. And you know, get confidence saying it, maybe practice it out loud into the mirror. That sounds really fucking stupid to say, but it actually really does work. I think a lot of the fear of saying no comes from not knowing how to say it in a diplomatic, non-offensive way. And also, we don't want to let anyone down and disappoint anyone because we think it will hurt our future career prospects. But in truth, the thing that will hurt your career and your business more is agreeing to something you know you can't do and then fucking it up later, or doing a shit job or having to drop out or whatever, it's irresponsible because you were too cowardly to say no. So think about it like that. You're doing a greater damage to your business by saying yes when you know you should be saying no. So that's that on that. Say no once in a while, for fuck's sake. You don't have to work 24/7 as a freelancer to make good money. I learned this lesson very, very quickly in the first 6 months of the first year of being freelance. I was on a blogging platform that it's kind of similar to like Upwork and Fiverr, and they assign you different blogging tasks, and I'm telling you, the rates on this fucking thing were ridiculous. So a 500 word blog post would, I think, be like £10, something like that, maybe it was 20. And a 1,000 word post would be like £30 or £40. So fucking peanuts. And the requirements were crazy. They would have all of this stuff listed out that you had to do. And then they had quality checkers on the other end. And if you hadn't met the requirements, they'd send the post back to you and you'd have to kind of go through and redo it, which took even longer. And I remember thinking in those first few months, in order to make any kind of decent living, I'm going to have to learn to become a machine and churn these out. And the rate at which I would have to turn them out is ridiculous. I mean, absolutely bonkers. And I was like working really, really long days and even having to kind of work weekends. And I just thought like, this isn't what I signed up for. So really the issue that we're dealing with here is quality of clients and the rate that you're charging. If you're charging a decent rate and working for actual clients rather than content mills, bidding sites and content platforms, you are able to make a good living. You can do 1,000 word blog post a day, get kind of 450 quid for it, and that's a day well done, you know? And that way you are able to work a 4-day week, a 5-day week, 9 to 5, civilised business hours, and take some of your fucking life back and enjoy the benefits of being freelance. Oh shit, I need to run to the bank or the dentist this morning. It's not a problem. I'm in charge of my schedule. I know I can fit this in. Amazing. There's no stress. There's no worry. That's how it should be. Working 24/7 is just a mug's game. Don't do that. In fact, I'll leave some videos listed below. If that's the situation that you yourself are in at the moment or are worried that you will find yourself in, go check those videos out. Learn how to build a sustainable, profitable business that doesn't doesn't encroach upon your work-life balance, because that's what we're aiming for at the end of the day. God, I'm getting fucking breathless just talking, fucking hell. Point 3, downtime is okay, and sometimes it's exactly what you need. If you're anything like me, you beat yourself up for any kind of downtime that you take in your freelance business. You find yourself trying to rationalise ways to cancel holidays because you're worried about the impact that that holiday will have on your revenue or your workload or your client relationships. You've got a free afternoon, your schedule is completely under control, you've finished all of your work, and you think, I better sit here at the desk anyway and catch up on something. I'll just find a job to do and do that job because I can always be working ahead. You can never be too organised and too prepared. Bitch, take the afternoon off. What the fuck? This is why we go freelance, to have these moments and this freedom. Why are you being a dick to yourself? One of the things it's a lesson that I learn over and over and over again, and bitch, I do not know why I don't remember it. And that is that time away from the desk and time away from the work makes you so much better at what you do. Not only because you are rested and you're not suffering from burnout and you're not overwhelmed, you are just rested and ready, but also because beavering away at that task that's just difficult and tricky, you're going to get nowhere fast. You're going to expend so much energy worrying away at this thing when you could be like, okay, let me look at the job. Right, now I'm going to go away, do something else, have an afternoon off, confident in the fact that my creative brain is working through this problem in the back of my mind. And when I approach the job again tomorrow or next week, it's going to come to me. And 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what happens. Your creative brain is not a machine. We don't have a job where you can sit down and just do the work regardless. Creativity often takes a certain set of circumstances to come together, and you can't force it. Number 4. The job is only confirmed when you've got the money. If you're not asking for a 50% deposit up front when you start work for a new client or on a big project, you might get lucky and the client might be great and pay you all the money that you need at the end. However, what if they aren't? Putting the money down up front, 50%, shows that they are investing in you, they're ready to go, they're taking it seriously. The job is afoot. And that is the only way that I will feel confident to actually get started on anything. Until then, a client can approach you in your inbox and say all sorts of wonderful things, but until they've paid the deposit and signed the proposal, it's all just talk. They can get you on a Zoom call and get really excited about working with you and maybe even send a brief and then completely fucking ghost you. It's not unheard of. It's pretty fucking common. So never count anything as booked work or as a win until you've got a signed proposal and the 50% deposit. Only then you've got the work. I touched on this a little bit in my managing ebb and flow of freelance work video. And that is, I used to get myself super stressed out if I was working on things and I had a full pipeline and then I was getting inquiries. I used to get overwhelmed and stressed, failing to take into account the fact that probably most of those leads would not come good. I was worrying about work that didn't even exist yet. Only when they've paid the deposit should you start worrying about your workload. And never get overconfident and count those chickens before they've hatched. You know, just be chill about it. Wait until you got the money, then you can celebrate. Point number 5. Proper onboarding is essential no matter the size of your freelance business. Onboarding is what helps you set the expectation with that client for the relationship you're going to have going forward and for the expectations of this particular project or task. It helps you outline in concrete terms what the job's going to be, what the process is going to be, exactly what you're going to deliver and what will happen if there's any scope creep or late payments or non-payments. It protects you and it gives you a really clear understanding of what's needed from you. And in my experience, only when you have that can you do a really good job, feel confident and feel happy in the relationship. I think I've done a video on client onboarding, but it might be a little bit outdated by now. If I can find any extra resources, I'll leave them for you below. But probably 2 of my non-negotiables would be to get on a call with them and discuss with them up front what they want, and then put that into a proposal which outlines everything. Get the signature on that, get the deposit, and off we go. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions and the difficult questions like payment, turnaround. If you have any questions, you absolutely need to ask them. Don't be like me. In the beginning of my career, I was shit scared of asking any sort of questions. I just felt like a moron. I didn't want to appear to be difficult or, you know, a nitpicker. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't ask that shit and you know you didn't ask it and it comes back to bite you in the arse later on, then that's only your fault, isn't it? So, proper onboarding. Doesn't matter if you're just a one-man band and you're just starting out. Make sure you do that. Point number 6, and probably one of the most important points in this entire list, and that is, your freelance colleagues are your greatest allies. Colleagues and friends. They are not your competition. I cannot count how many times the freelance community has come through for me. I'm going to say that at least a third, maybe even half of my revenue can be directly attributed to jobs my freelance colleagues have put me forward for. It's really helpful to have a kind of a list or roster of your freelance peers and their specialisms, so that when someone approaches you and you're not right for the work, you can be like, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't really what I do, but I would recommend checking out, you know, this person, this person, this person, and this person. Go and have a look at their portfolio, see what you think, maybe reach out. I think they'd be great for the work. And that way you can kind of turn a job down without flat saying no and being unhelpful, but you can also help to lift up your fellow freelancers. Also, I mean, I'm pretty sure that most of the views that I get on these videos are from my fellow freelancers. I couldn't have launched this YouTube channel without those guys. We all share resources, we troubleshoot with each other, we creative problem solve together. And in the summer, when my mum passed away, the fucking community showed up for me like no one else. They sent care packages to my house, they checked in with me, and in fact at the time of filming it's December and it's my last year my last week working, as I mentioned. I've had a number of people reach out to me on LinkedIn and Twitter in private messages, just checking in with me to make sure I'm going to be okay at Christmas, because they know how difficult it's going to be. Fuck. Does looking up and blinking stop you from crying? Because lots of people do it. I'm not finding it to be very effective. Checking in with me, because I know it's going to be my first Christmas without my mum. I got through the sentence. Woohoo! I got through the fucking sentence. Well done. I had people there that were willing to cover for me while I was on compassionate leave. Everyone's just great, you know? And a couple of weeks ago we had kind of a freelance Christmas party in King's Cross. And a bunch of freelancers from the UK, you know, freelance web developers, UX, design, copywriters, you know, all sorts, marketeers, loads of people showed up, and it was crazy insane to meet these people for the first time in real life. People that I've been friends with on Discord or Slack or Twitter or LinkedIn, meet them for the first time. It's bonkers. It was so nice. And also to get a Christmas party with colleagues, you don't realise how much you miss that shit until you don't have it. So they are essential. They're not just essential for running your business and growing your revenue, they are essential for your fucking mental well-being. Those guys are it. And also, you know, it means that I'm your colleague as well. If you start to integrate with the freelance community online, I become your colleague. We become colleagues, and that's really a nice thing to think about. And that brings me to the end of this video. I'm probably going to go and have a lem sip or lay face down on the floor. If you have any questions about anything I've discussed here today, please leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can find me on social media. Or you can just come back here in 2 weeks for more Kiss My A's. So, until then, take care and peace out.